Hello, hello.
Hey, best friend.
How are you?
I'm doing good, doing better than I was last week, I would say. Just holding myself accountable, taking one day at a time.
Good. I feel
Um,
like you did a lot better this week with balance too, so that was good.
just kind of just holding myself accountable, kind of like just having that mental check in my mind, like, okay, nobody's gonna get you here but you, and you're making these, certain obligations to yourself. Let's be consistent. Let's
hmm
be certain when you speak, speak my words. So, yeah, I think it definitely has been better, and I've been getting outside, so that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's been really nice this entire week, so that has been really good. I've been able to get out the house. I've been off all week,
I
um,
know you've been on a go.
so I've been moving around. I definitely been moving around a lot. So, but it felt really good. I was telling a friend of mine, like, sometimes you don't really be realizing how much you be needing a break
to come.
sometimes.
I can agree
So,
with you. So how did your week go since you're saying you had a break? How was that for you?
it was really good. Like I said, it was like one of those moments like, oh, I needed this break. Like, honestly, I hate that it had to be at the expense of my dog because I still been so sad, like here and there. But yeah, overall, I still needed it. So I've been able to get out, do a few things, you know, create some time that I would not have dedicated to other things or people if I didn't have that time off. So it was good.
That just kind of goes into, and may I share with the our audience the podcast? A bitch is done breastfeeding.
Uh-oh.
So I'm back at it. My true stoners. This is a podcast for the stoners, for the motherfuckers who get high. I'm back on it. So y'all gonna hear me puffing and pulling during the podcast because y'all know we have good conversation.
And she cannot wait for this moment. Like
Listen,
literally.
I've been waiting. I've been waiting. I've been doing all week to the point where I'm like, damn, I might need to smoke just a Zaza.
I'm so
Shit.
weak.
Yes, but of course, yeah, I'm happy to hear that, you had a balanced week as well. I
hmm
think I definitely, now that we went through the week, I definitely think it's definitely it was full moon energy. I could definitely say that.
Yeah, you did bring that up. That was a good point. Cause
Yeah, it was definitely a lot better this week, kind of getting my mind back right. So, yes.
girl, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So listen. So I was watching. What was it? I don't know where I was on some social media platform, and I watched a clip it of Love and Hip Hop reunion thing or whatever, and I saw that Mandisi, who is Yandy's husband, I guess they were all getting up doing testimonies, and he was trying to give his testimony about like his life experiences and how that shaped him to who he is today and how he does things, and his mother, this is a grown man. His mother interrupted him and then walked up to where he was telling his story and was like, oh, you can sit down. I'll take it from here. Because,
What?
yes, girl, because she wasn't comfortable with his truth. And I was just like, it was just, girl, like, man, what the fuck? And this is why I feel like our men have these issues, because
Mm,
you have women, um single women, hurt women that then go and raise young men, and then they be wearing that hurt from their experience, and their mothers don't let them speak, they don't let them make decisions, they don't let them be men, they don't respect
mm.
them as men. And it's like, you have to understand what you're doing as a whole, not even just to him, but then to his seed, to his woman, to everything. And it's just, girl, I was just like, I understood also her end. She was embarrassed, like, because he was talking about her being on drugs and them being hungry and eating sugar and butter or something like that, and like going to the neighbors to maybe get something to eat. And she was like, why was you hungry? And he's like, let's keep it real. Like, you wasn't home for days. You wasn't there or
Mm.
whatever. And I think that, just with the attention that they're getting from the show, and that's not something you want the whole world to know,
To
that you
know.
wasn't there for your child.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
then, because you so worried about what the world gonna think about your reality, you then still turn around and start to break your child down even more. It was just a lot.
So what was his response when she was like, I'll take it from here? What did he say?
I think the clip ended, girl. I didn't
Damn.
even, because I don't really watch the show, to be honest. So I didn't even think like, oh, let me go finish this whole. That was just it for me. But I think he kind of looked at her like, the
Bitch.
fuck.
The hell? What's going on? And I think that you made a valid point when you said that that is something that our men will, or some of them do experience, where they kind of
Mm-hmm.
lose their voice, and
Mm-hmm.
they don't have that role as a man, because you have certain attributes that if you did have a single mother and your mother did raise you, not saying that it's impossible for
Mm-hmm.
a woman to teach, not necessarily teach a man, but give him the tools that he may need. Yeah, he may be
Mm-hmm.
missing some things, but just on the circumstance of not being able to express yourself and
Mm-hmm.
get out how you feel. You know what I'm saying? And that also just goes to the aspect of, it don't matter how old you are,
Mm-hmm.
people still got to do healing. And it don't matter
Absolutely.
how old you are. It don't mean you just wise just because you have age on you. Because that was very, I think that to him, if that did occur the way that what you're saying, then
Mm-hmm.
he's even more traumatized. That's more trauma.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
you worried about what everybody else is going to think about your reality, but you're not really realizing what you're continuously inflicting pain upon your grown child. Like, I
Mm.
mean, he got to be in his 30s, 40s, I don't know,
He's
but
probably in his late 30s, 40s, I think.
yeah. So it's like, and then again, this is also public, it's on a bigger quote unquote stage, you know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? And it's like, it's crazy. And even going into that, they did like a little sneak peek or whatever, and it was saying, Ray J was saying that Princess be getting mad at him and telling him to go to his room.
What?
And that's not really funny, but is, because girl, it goes back into the same thing about how, like, the balance of how women don't know how to necessarily speak to men,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what that relationship is, whether it's your brother, your peer, whatever. I'm not saying that you have to like bow down to them, in no way am I saying that.
Mm-hmm.
But if it is a relationship, especially where there's love and respect, then you have to understand that there's going to be times where you have to let them voice themselves as men. So if that's
Mm-hmm.
them being a little bit more rah-rah than you would appreciate, it's like, okay, cool, but that's he's a man. That's what they're going to do. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And so it was one of those things, like, what type of respect could you really have for a man that you telling him to go lay in his room, but yet you saying you want his sperm? That doesn't even make
That
sense.
doesn't even make sense, because what happened was you really wasn't thinking before you got the sperm.
Hmm.
You weren't really thinking at that point. When you got the sperm, you just got the sperm. So
Mm-hmm.
now you just dealing with a motherfucker that you really can't stand like that. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes when you have your children, it causes you to grow in a certain maturity of a mind, because now you become responsible for the other person. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe she could be experiencing like, damn, all this time I've been wanting a certain something, but this is not even truly what I fucking want, because I could barely get along.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
In that circumstance, that's really very, very unfortunate. I know for me, I had an issue with being able to let a man do what he needed to do. And I think that came from me previously. We've talked about it in previous episodes, where in my experience and what I went through, I was in a place of taking care of a man and doing the manly things. So when it came time to me having a man that was capable of doing those things and exercising those responsibilities, I couldn't even be appreciative, one, of it, and two, accepting of it, because my
Mm-hmm.
mind was so programmed into just getting shit done myself. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And so that is something, in the circumstance with Ray J and Princess, she may need to learn how to allow a man to be a man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, if you don't like the type of man that you see, that's not the man, that's you. Because you
Mm-hmm.
need to be figuring out why you with him.
Why that's what you attracting. Absolutely.
Why that's what you attracting. Exactly. So I know for some women, and just speaking for myself and talking to other women, we may find it difficult in letting a man do what it is that he needs to do. And just accepting that. Like I told you, that's one thing I learned from you. I will take money quick. Before, I used to be like, oh, no, don't worry about it. Bitch, now who? You want to put gas in my car? Okay. You gonna go wash my car? Okay. I'm letting you do the manly shit. I'm
Now
letting you
that's
do.
real.
No, I'm letting you do it. To where I was in a relationship with a nigga and he couldn't even change a damn flat tire. Well, what
Cause
kind of
sir,
man? What kind of man is that?
I hate to say it, guys, but
That's real. Fuck a feelings. This is what it is.
it,
If you
but at
are a
the same
man,
time, I seen no. But at the same time, it's like how you gonna tell it? It goes back into the like, okay, so I'm not a man because I can't change a tire. Because you got some men that truly don't know how to change a tire. No other man ever took the opportunity to teach them how to do a tire.
that
They
is
never
no
took a class to teach.
excuse. That
I
is
know.
no
I agree,
excuse.
girl. I agree. I'm just trying to play devil's
You should
advocate here.
playing devil's advocate of the wrong fucking drum. And this is just what a motherfucking is. If your ass is a motherfucking man and you are responsible for a child, or you intend on being responsible for a child, if you intend on being the provider, whether you are in a heterosexual relationship or homosexual relationship, if your role is to be that masculine energy where you are supposed to provide, protect, and take care of, your motherfucking ass at a minimum better know how to motherfucking change a damn tire.
I'm with you, honey.
Period.
Listen. I am
Period.
with
I don't know who
you.
the fuck need to hear it, but you better go on YouTube. YouTube teach your ass everything. It ain't no reasoning or no excuse why in 2021 you a man and you don't know how to motherfucking change a tire. Shit, it may be even necessary for a woman to at least can visually see it and know what needs to get done just in case she's stranded in the middle of nowhere by herself. But in a position as a man, and I have a man and I have a protector, no sir. Change this tire. You should know how to do that. Protect
Yeah.
me. Protect me. Cause I want a Kuta Kente, not a Toby. And that's that.
I'm with you. I agree that all men and young guys need to know how to change a tire. Again, I was just playing devil's advocate because let me be in a car and my man can't change a tire. Girl, I have an attitude all the way home. Why you mad? Because what the fuck was that?
What the we had to wait 45 motherfucking minutes.
If only you could have changed the tire.
Hello?
Like, what the fuck?
Hello?
That's like, no, for real. And I've seen stuff like that, like at the gas station. It'd be a woman down. I think I told y'all about this. And the guy standing over her with his arms crossed, cuss his ass up. Like, what the fuck is this?
What the fuck is going on?
Because I think not. It's hot out here, honey. Sit in the passenger seat and let him do that.
Yeah, that's
or
crazy.
Get out the car. Go get y'all some waters out the gas station while he out here. Yeah, man, out here he busting a little sweat. Gotta get a little,
And
okay, let him do that and go get the waters. Come back with a little like cool something.
And that is, and not to say, but women, to my woman, or just period, if you're dealing with a masculine energy that will allow you to be in that position, that is something that you would need. You should take in and really think about that and reflect on not even just a surface level, but a subconscious level, because that says a lot. For my man should not even be okay, or the masculine energy in the relationship should not even be okay for me to even be put in this position and be okay with that. Like, I'm about to move. I don't have to worry about moving. I'm leaving that up to my husband, my man. He gonna figure it out because I'm not really gonna be moving nothing. And that's what needs to be done.
And neither is best friend. I'm not doing this shit.
I shouldn't have to do that. Now, that doesn't mean that you should not be independent, because if you're not in a relationship, then yes, these are things that you should be capable of doing yourself, or being put in a position where you can afford for somebody to do it for you. But just back to that aspect. And I think it's a lot of men out here that some of them, I don't want to even say a lot because I don't even want to put that on certain men, but it's a few men that, like you said, they just don't know how.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been put in a position where they were ill prepared.
Mm-hmm.
But I still feel like at the end of the day, that's a loser's limp. And that's a clutch to why you should not be learning how to do these things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just being aware of being able to protect yourself and prepared.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, no.
I feel it. I feel it, girl. Because listen, I'm spoiled in that way. So if I have to do all of that, I promise you, it's a wrap for him for the week. I'm not
For the week,
cooking.
baby.
I'm not like, like we're not
He
gonna
said,
argue. I'm not gonna disrespect you about it. But you definitely gonna know, like, let me learn how to change the tire quick because my woman, she ain't having that shit. It's a whole problem. Cause then I'm the type to be like random. It's Thursday now. Here my ass is. I'm out. So if you want to take a hunting trip, but we're gonna get out there in the wild and you can't change the tire, what we gonna do? The whole family gonna get like I'm going there.
that's a real question though. That's a real question. And fuck all of that. I'm hurting your feelings. That is a real question for your man. How you gonna protect me, baby? What's going on?
I'm confused. I gotta do that too.
No, yo, he gonna look at you like, what the fuck?
I'm laughing so hard, but I promise you that's exactly what I would be on. So, but I'm working on it.
Yeah. Well, we're getting it. In a nutshell, it's just essential to kind of let these masculine energies do what they need to do. Let these men, especially in particular,
Amen.
do what they need to do. And as mothers, as a mother, if you have a son,
Mm-hmm.
let him be a man.
Absolutely.
Let him have that tough skin. Don't baby him.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that. He got to get out here.
And you know what else? To second that, outside of a mother, just in relationships, period. Like when someone is trying to tell their experience, you may not agree with their perception of it, but still be respectful enough to let that person express themselves. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I think is a part of like listening. A lot of times we listen to respond, and sometimes you need to just listen to just understand. It doesn't mean that you have to agree, but at least understand where the person is coming from. So then you can then objectively look at the situation and see like where y'all may be having that disconnect, and maybe y'all can understand like, okay, our viewpoints on it is different, but we understand that this happened to you. Like what you're saying is still valid, you know, because sometimes that's what people need to hear.
Yeah, you said a word on that one. We be listening to respond and not listening to understand. You said a word on that one.
Yes, ma'am. So let's see. It's about that time, best friend. Go ahead and do your thing.
It's time to roll the dice. It's that time.
It's that time. So let's see. We got 6.
Okay.
Number 6 is going to be past experiences and epigenetics.
I like that.
Absolutely.
And it's crazy that rolled on that. Like
every time it's gonna be on the money. Every time. It just be falling in place.
It'd be falling in place for sure. So just to give y'all a before we even get into the topic of what epigenetics and how significant that is, my birthday is coming up and I'm like, listen, everybody's like, well, what you gonna do? What you want to do for your birthday? And I want to do a past life regression.
Yes.
It's just been on me so heavy, and I feel like it's something everybody should do, not necessarily a past life regression, but to understand that, and however you get to that journey, whatever methods you need to take to do so, it's important to understand where you're coming from in order to know where you're going.
Amen.
So for me, the past regression is just that, like, me being able to see some of the lessons that I needed to learn in my past, work on those, accept those, face those, moving, foot forward, straight forward, so that I can progress to be better and walk into my purpose so I could ascend. to the next dimension. So I'm ecstatic.
So I am that is how I feel. Just a deep breath. And I say because it's like I'm really excited to try it too. Because a few of us are gonna do the past life regression together. And I am like, I tell y'all this all the time. I will cry. I don't give a shit. So I'm gonna be crying. I don't know where I get the crybaby syndrome, but I've been like that since I was a child. But like, I'm gonna cry about it.
You gotta open
The
you
happiness and the sad. I would just be crying.
you gotta open heart chakra. That's what that is. That's what that is.
Just my mama says since I was a kid, they used to have to ride me around for hours at night just to get me to stop crying. I just be crying, happy or sad. I'm just crying. So, anyways, just depending on what I see, and I'm just gonna be touched. But
of
the
course.
thing about it is, I was telling one of our other girlfriends this. You know, it's like even what you see in your past, I do wonder, like, do you start to think about, does that then change the path of your journey, your experience here, or do we end up in particular spaces because we're looking in the past? Now, they do it for the future as well. I'm not doing that. That's not. I know I have to set my boundaries earlier. No, because I don't want to get something and whoa, Lord Jesus. But as far as the past,
you're not prepared for it.
I just and because I worry about it, like putting you in whatever place you quote unquote see or not, and not knowing what that is you will see beforehand, I'm not ready to. Hell no.
Yeah, no, I don't think I don't think that I'm with that either.
Yeah.
I don't. That's not a lifetime I want to live. I would prefer to just my knowing and control ain't that fucking deep.
Yeah. It's almost gets a little cray for me. I'm like, oh, I want to do that. But we could definitely look at some other previous experiences and see, okay, hey, what have I not mastered, and possibly what is it for me to master during this time? So I'm intrigued about it. We've been asking you what you want to do for your birthday for a while, and it's been on the limb. So now you found something. So I'm excited about trying it, and we're gonna record our. Are you willing to record your session?
Of course, I'm recording it. That thing gonna be on YouTube, y'all. That's gonna be something y'all to see. I don't know if I'm gonna put the whole thing in there, just depending on how deep it goes,
honey.
But it's definitely something that y'all will be able to see that I will be putting on YouTube. For me, I really want to do it for healing. And you just need to heal. That kind of goes into what epigenetics, what that signifies. Yes. And so I'm not sure if we've already explained what epigenetics means.
We have not. So I have the actual textbook definition.
Okay, give it our best.
All right. So epigenetics is the study of how your behaviors and environment can cause changes that affect the way your genes work. So unlike genetic changes, epigenetic changes are reversible and they do not change your DNA sequence, but they can change how your body reads the sequence of your DNA.
Okay. I think that is the perfect definition. So if we want to put that into a layman's term, or an example per se, because a lot of people see with examples. So for example, your grandfather could have lived in a certain condition, i.e., let's say the hood, during the crack epidemic, and everybody was on drugs and could have experienced certain traumas that it may not change his DNA makeup per se, but it is affecting his memory, his DNA. So that is then passed down to your dad or yourself or you, and you may have these traumas that you're not aware of or you cannot control because that is in your DNA.
Right. So in other instances, some of you may have heard of it in the form of muscle memory, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they say, for instance, when women are pregnant, they have to be very conscious of their emotions, because that is then passed to the baby. And so, to give you an idea, it's kind of like that same thing. When a woman is pregnant, her child is feeling, and everything is in tune with each other. So you're then embedding those emotions into the muscle memory of your child. So that's why you have to be careful with that. So it's basically the same thing. What we are feeling, if let's say someone is dealing with a lot of depression, it's something to be mindful of how you handle those situations, because you're training your body to deal with that. And so then when you reproduce, you then pass that on to your children.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, with all of that being said, we say all of this to say, and we're tying this in reference in reference to the past life, the healing, and why healing is essential. Because sometimes we're just passing on certain cycles,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the best way to put it. Like sometimes you ask yourself, like, damn, I have this in common with my parent,
Mm-hmm.
and they went through this, and now I'm going through the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Of
that can be,
course.
yes, that can be past traumas.
Mm-hmm.
And also you may find yourself in a situation where you're like, damn, I keep having this experience and I'm not really too sure on why.
Mm-hmm.
It could be something that your soul, a karma that your soul needs to go through
Mm-hmm.
in order for your soul to learn, which is why the past life position is so important.
Absolutely. So in regards to what you were just saying, like the deja vu thing, we watched, what is that TV station that you have at your house?
Gaia.
We were watching the Gaia channel, which is really good, you guys. It's a lot of different, I guess, like, I don't know what you would call them, like philosophers, wellness speaker. It's like a lot of different people. Yes.
Archaeologists, spiritual travelers,
Mm-hmm.
people who is heavy in astronomy and those type of things, UFOs. If you a conspiracy theorist, that is a network for you.
This is true. This is
Yeah.
true. Or if you're just knowledgeable, because some of the stuff, I feel like you don't have to be a conspiracy theorist in order to gain that information off of there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we were watching that, and oh wow, I'm a little lit too, y'all. Trying to think. So we were watching this show, and they were going over like your past life experiences. So a lot of people, well, for the people who believe that when you pass, you will be reincarnated, right?
Mm.
So if you kind of along that lines, then you're like, of course, then our spirits will, inhabit another experience. It may not be the human experience, but some form of a different experience. So when
Mm-hmm.
we were watching that, they were explaining how within these different experiences, you have these different realms. Can you break that down?
Ooh, the realms go deep. I can't break all of that down on
Okay.
here. But I could break down
Okay, give
the
them the
first.
basics of it then, like
So
the
so
structure.
yes. So pretty much we have realms. We have our 3D, which is the lowest realm of what we're experiencing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Then we transition. Then past that, you have the 4D and the 5D.
Mm-hmm.
And those are number terms, but they have actual names to them. But it pretty much says as you evolve out of the 3D, you ascend, which is kind of like the spiritual realm and
Mm-hmm.
your spirit guides and things of that nature. And that level also needs a certain type of mastering on a soul level.
Mm-hmm.
And then he proceeded to talk about how then you ascend some more, and when you ascend past that level, you kind of then in like this cosmo area. It gets deep, but on the basic on the basic level, yes, we are in the 3D, but our souls also have lessons that you have to go through as well.
Mm-hmm.
So in reference to the past regression, and I'm not sure if you kind of were going there with it, they have these people who have the ability to hypnotize you
Mm-hmm.
and pretty much go into that dimension of thinking within your mind. Because at the end of the day, we are gods. We are a extension of God. So we have the ability to, you know, execute those godly behaviors. We have these powers.
Mm-hmm.
And so when the hypnosis and you're in hypnosis, you're kind of able to see those things that you would not see with a normal eye.
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, I kind of receive it as them traveling in those dimensions, if that makes sense.
It
Because
is.
mm-hmm,
So where I was actually going with bringing that up is like how we are able to see like into those previous experiences sometimes, but we're not really educated on a lot of the things that affect us on a spiritual level,
mm,
within balancing our bodies. So we don't know what those things are. We call them things like, oh, deja vu, or I had a dream, or I had this type of dream, not really
mm,
understanding the what that holds. So you mentioned it, and someone else actually mentioned, like a way to explain what we're talking about for people who still may not understand it necessarily. A depiction would be the movie Soul.
yeah, I love that movie. It was
Mm-hmm.
really good.
Yes, you mentioned it, and something else that I was reading in regards to the past regression videos mentioned it as well. And I haven't seen it yet, but I'm actually gonna watch it this weekend with my niece. We may watch it today. But where was I going with that? So that may be another way to explain what it is. Like, we are aware, but honestly, we are so. And I don't want to say we, because I don't want to put that energy on myself or you or whoever's listening. But people in general, are so, like, there's so much weighing on us that we're so distracted from that, that we
Mm-hmm.
can't, like, people can't see it because there's so
Mm-hmm.
many distractions or whatever. And it's like, they're putting whatever out to get us further and further away from that, so that it's like we can't be connected to it. So I think that it's very important, and actually really good that we're talking about this today, because for a lot of people, it can give people a lot of explanation of why, like, outside of even just the past life regression experience. Like, even if you never choose to do that, it's still good to know, how things are affecting you, why they may be affecting you, things, and just to start that journey on their own, to just get into that, because
Mm-hmm.
it provides you with a lot of like balance and understanding. And like a lot of the things, I promise you, from just me speaking, like, um a lot of the 3D things that may have bothered me in the past, I've really been noticing things like one at a time, be like, whatever, I'll just brush it off, because I know that it really does not affect my real purpose. Like, it's not a part of the big picture at all.
Mm,
You know
mm.
what I mean? And so it's really been like a healing and like growing experience in a way that's really hard to explain to people sometimes. But
We
yeah.
too we too busy living on the earth instead of being in balance with the earth.
Amen. Say that again.
And that's what it is. We're too busy living on the earth instead of being in balance with the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you take it on a deeper level, and you want to take it for
Mm-hmm.
those who may be in a specific religion, because we have
Mm-hmm.
those too. We don't want to exclude nobody.
Right.
um if you take it on a level where you say, okay, in Genesis, God talks about how he made Adam and Eve from the
Mm-hmm.
earth, from the ground, from the dirt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just like anything else, and you perceive that and you say, hey, I am made of the dirt, I'm made up of God, and I'm made of the man's rib, is how Christians would interpret the Bible.
Correct. Correct.
You are this is what you are. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
the earth, I'm from the earth. That means that what I need to be in sequence with the earth. If I'm made
Yes.
from the earth, if the earth is in sequence and the earth has seasons, that means that what the body should too have seasons as well.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? If the earth is going through this and it's cleansing when it's raining and it's doing these things, you should be doing the same thing. We are all in balance with one another. It's a yin, it's a yang
Absolutely.
to everything. So um it's a difference when you can understand things from a different perspective, because it's just not somebody telling you what you should be doing.
You feel
This
it.
is
You know it.
yes, this is why I should be doing what I'm doing, because it does this. It is a benefit of this. If I eat a certain way, or if I eat of the earth, I will be in balance with the earth.
Mm-hmm.
You'll know certain things. That's just what comes with it. That's how you become closer with source. And so for some people, that type of stuff doesn't matter. And it's sad to say,
I feel like it doesn't matter for some people because they don't even, like, to them, they may not have realized the difference that it makes. Like, again, like for me, like when you're just talking about like eating, just like nature, I love being outside. I love animals for the most part. Like all of those things I pay attention to. I pay attention to the seasons, and it's like all of that stuff really do be affecting you. And once you are aware, you're able to be more in line. So that's less depression, whatever people be going through. The more you're in tune with that, and the more you're in balance with that, you'll also see that reflection within yourself. Now, you said this the other day. You was like, imagine it, because we were talking about how Elon Musk is trying to have people go live, outside of the earth or whatever. And it's just like, instead of taking people to another planet, why don't everybody just get in sync? Like, why can't we just get in sync?
We can get in sync.
It's like, but we so far from the knowledge I'm talking about the true knowledge. Like, they have taken us so far away from it. People don't even people don't understand.
They don't even think about it. It doesn't even cross their mind. That's how asleep.
It's not even in their intuition no more. It's like they don't know.
They don't know. They don't think about it. It's not something that has been a reality. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is. You have to ask the question, like, what else is there?
Mm-hmm.
This cannot just be my only option.
It's
what else is there?
Mm-hmm.
So then at some point, like for me, just in my study, and I always say, like, my goal is to be worldly more than anything. I want to be able to be empathetic and understand people of all phases of life and all circumstances and situations, and what different
culture,
exactly, what other religions, what this practice may be. But in any study of any religion, it teaches you the same thing. It's a balance to it. You understand what I'm saying? There's always a balance. And so, cutting down the trees, come on, the Amazon was fucking burning. The Amazon makes up most of our oxygen.
Yeah.
Are you not paying attention to this?
We're not keeping the water clean. The sea is and that take up most of the earth.
And it's trash. And it's trash. So these things are damaging to the earth. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, we're damaging to our bodies, because at the end of the day, if you think about it on a mental level, you are what you eat, right? You perform based off of what you eat. If I'm eating all types of, like, I don't care who eat pork or how you feel some type of way, it's poison. That's just what it is at the end of the day.
Amen to that.
You eating pork, you poisoning your body. You understand? You cannot move in the appropriate way that you're supposed to move because you're not eating right. That's how essential that shit is. Like, your mental is clouded. Your intuition is subdued.
Absolutely.
You can't hear your spirit guides. Your spirit guides can't communicate with you the way that they need to because you're not in the right vibration by what you eating. So now that you're not in the right vibration, and you got other people not in the right vibration, what you think we doing? Of course we killing one another. Of course we poisoning our body, and we're going to continue to eat this junk food that's on the side in the corner. And you not introducing your child to the appropriate eating habits so then they take on your shit. You understand what I'm saying? We trying to figure out why we dying and we got cancers, because this is what's going on. And
this is what we're putting into our people and ourselves, our communities, and people don't even know, like, they don't even know to even think about what they're being fed. They just know that the grocery store is here. They're going to have good quality. This is a good brand store. We're going to go to Target versus whatever. We're going to buy the same junk food. And like what? People don't even know to look further into that. They just, in the matrix, they just doing what's being presented to them. And that's enough for a lot of people.
And that's enough for a lot of people. And sometimes those people be your family members. And it be the saddest thing. Like, damn, you know what I'm saying? And you just, it's for some people, they could live a lifetime doing that.
Yeah. And it's not even to sound judgy or anything like, oh, it is sad though, because you even think like, okay, I was there once. You know what I mean? And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, once you know better, you want everybody to do better. You know what I mean? But you can't force that on people. But I always still try to implement things to people. Like if I'm cooking, I'm not cooking anything that's outside of what I eat. If I'm not gonna put it in me, I'm not gonna give it to you. You know what I mean? Like I don't
Mm-hmm.
buy my nieces or nobody McDonald's. Like I don't eat those things. I'm not gonna give that to you. And I feel like sometimes it can even just start from there. Sometimes we do need to take responsibility for our neighbors or whoever when we have the opportunity to just show them different or just have these conversations out loud. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
To invoke it, and maybe somebody be like, oh well, let me start looking at the back of my packaging and it's telling me this on the front, but the back say da da da. Or I look into the
Mm-hmm.
company, because a lot of the things, like for people who eat gummies, you're not supposed to eat anything like that because that has pork in it. So people be like, I don't eat pork, and then turn around eat gummy bears.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's pork. A lot of these
Mm-hmm.
different fast foods you go to, they have pork, and it be the craziest thing. Whatever you could think of, these companies, they feed in straight trash.
Well, cornstarch for one is not good for you.
It has
And
pork in it.
no, it. I
Oh.
don't believe it has pork in it, but cornstarch is not good for you. Just
Mm-hmm.
to be taken. And a lot of things have cornstarch. Like they use that a lot for flavoring.
Mm.
Um, and so one of the habits that I've been trying to incorporate is in my house. Like, okay, with my son, I'm trying to break him into that. Like, it took me. I felt bad. Like I was letting my son still eat this way because I'm trying to condition myself to eat. So I'm still giving him what he wants till I had to touch his stomach, and I'm like, damn, your stomach kind of hard. Your stomach shouldn't be this hard. So we had to change it up. So now
Mm-hmm.
when he has his lunch, I'll make him Brussels sprouts. You
And he
eating breakfast?
loved his meat. He's like, TT, is that chicken? I said, yeah, guys. Oh, that look good. I'm like, best friend, no. Oh, I can't. Okay. I had him go throw the plate away. He just staring at that piece of chicken like I'm about to eat this shit right now. Ain't nobody looking.
Yeah,
Fuck,
no.
baby.
Yeah, we definitely,
Recondition it.
yeah, it takes reconditioning because that shit is not healthy for you. And we be like, fuck cancer, shit. You could fuck cancer for real just by eating right.
Just by eating right. Absolutely. That's the truth. That's the
You know what
truth.
I'm saying? So yeah, it takes a change. I know we kind of got straight off
I
topic,
was,
y'all, for a little bit, but
but not really, no. But I was gonna say, in epigenetics, we watched Billy Carson,
I
and
love him.
in the class that he offered, he was speaking about like the technology that they have for epigenetics and how they are adding. Well, is this was that epigenetics that they were talking about when he was talking about adding the chips and things of sorts through these like vaccines and the muscle memory and being able to alter uh, your memory?
No, that wasn't exactly epigenetics. He
Mm.
went into epigenetics after that. But
Oh, okay.
what you saying some real ass motherfucking shit. That shit that they was talking about putting certain memory and certain loads of information
Mm-hmm.
into vaccines. They can hide certain DNA or RNA
Messages.
messages.
Mm-hmm.
RNA is the correct thing, not DNA.
Mm-hmm.
They can hide certain RNA messages within these vaccines to where they're dormant in your body, and all they have to do is be activated.
Mm-hmm.
And it can make you and force you to have certain memories that are not yours,
That is not
and
reality.
that
Mm-hmm.
is not your reality. And so oh, that shit
It's
within itself
crazy. I know
is
it sound
insane.
crazy, but y'all, it's real.
It's
It's real. They
real.
really out here doing this. You cannot think that, again, Elon Musk is trying to send people to where he trying to send them to? Mars?
He trying to go to Mars. It's already, listen, let me tell y'all something. It's already people living on Mars.
Mm.
That's just what it is.
Yeah, they sent some people a few years ago to which planet? Was it Mars?
I
I
don't
never heard
know.
anything else about them people, but I remember seeing them on the TV show, The Real Daytime, and the lady was like, "Yeah, I could be gone for so many years." I'm like, "Girl, she was a other person." I'm like,
Well,
y'all don't even live that damn long, bitch. You're not about to be gone that long."
it takes 6 months. I believe it takes 6 to 9 months to get to Mars.
Mm.
And then you have to wait 2 years before you could come back. Because I guess the way that the travel works, you may have to wait till the planet aligns a certain way for your travel. But
Oh,
it takes 2 years for you to get back from Earth, from Mars to Earth. So it takes about 6 months to get to Mars, though. Takes about, yeah,
wow.
you gotta stop. They stop at the moon first. They stop at the moon, and then I guess they get their supplies. And then I told you, ever since I had that motherfucking dream, I've really been into this.
I'm over here. I'm literally focused. Like, what?
Yes, I've been into this shit. So I've been watching like a lot of astronaut shit. They go to the moon first, and they re up on they like supplies. Like they got a whole base built on the moon. Like
Like, girl,
they.
I'm literally over. I'm literally over here listening to you, and all I could envision is that show. What is the name of that show where they had like the stuff happening? The Black Mirror. And I'm thinking about a Black Mirror episode with them sending them people over there, and they is just literally pissed off. They can't do shit. They is miserable. They ready to
No,
come back home.
they got shit established in the moon. But them astronauts is not, believe it or not, they not eating meat either, because you can't store
Mm-mm.
that. You can't dry freeze that. So a lot of the times they having a chlorophyll diet.
Yes,
Which is also of the earth. But anyways, they having a chlorophyll diet. And yeah, so anyways, yeah, they got the moon built. Like the moon base been built since fucking JFK time. They have buildings in that motherfucker. I mean, not skyscrapers, but they definitely got several facilities.
I need to look into that.
Yes, that is also on Gaia. I love that fucking network. I be in there all day watching
Okay,
that
teach the
shit.
people how to get Gaia and how much they cost a month.
Okay,
No,
so
don't go into that because they need to pay us for advertising. But do teach the people where to go.
Gaia is exactly, they put it in a nutshell, conscious TV. That is
Mm.
exactly what it is. And so if you want to evolve and just understand where it is that we really fucking come from and what
Mm-hmm.
the fuck is really fucking going on, that is a good place to just start and kind of gradually get yourself in that. Of course, you should always do your outside research, but it's called Conscious TV. So if you like documentaries, they got a lot of those. But yeah, so pretty much, yeah, they have already had establishments on the moon. You travel to the moon, you get your resources, then you travel to, you and your spaceship, and it takes about 6 to 9 months to get to Mars. Now,
Mm-hmm.
what they do is they drop like a sack ahead of time before you
Mm-hmm.
can just land, if that makes sense. I don't know what it's called in particular, but it's like a sack that they drop, and they make sure that gets to the planet first before you
Mm.
can go ahead and land, so that you can have supplies while you're there. But yes, they have said that people have already been on the moon, period. And
And
that,
they have been successful.
yes, that they've been successful.
Hmm.
They've been successful. Yes. So, and then two, for those who don't know, each planet has its own number of moons as well. Like every planet just don't have one moon.
Right, right.
Like Jupiter has this, I think it's what, 72 or 68 or some shit.
I don't want to lie.
Or something like that. But yes. So I don't know why we started talking about this. I'm high.
Because we was talking about that, but girl, yeah, they y'all got it. Y'all would have.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I'm too weak, but yes, so that was that, girl. I just I think that again, like the past life regression is going to be really good. I think that Okay, so let's talk about past experiences outside of that realm, right? Um, and how that can really past like you and how not can how it really does like shape your current and how you deal with those things, whether that's positive aspects. I would say, what are some things that you feel like, just, we're both like closer to 30 now.
Mm,
um
Jesus, can't even believe that.
So, like, on a positive note, what are some things that you feel like it was like important to you to see when you were young, and how it's been able to, reflect into you as an adult?
Um, for the most part, I think every mistake, every failure, every relationship has been learning.
Mhm.
My experiences, period. I'm glad that I went through certain situations with men at an
Mhm.
earlier age, because I would just hate to be so grown and still going through certain shit.
Mhm.
Um, Choosing to get to know myself, having to lose my mind first to really put me on a journey. Like that saying that they say, you have to lose your mind. Something happens to make you awaken. And I'm glad that I had that experience in order to kind of put me on the path that I am now.
Mhm.
Um just those certain things. I mean, just on a regular note, I'm glad that the environment, even though I may have some certain traumas from coming from where I come from, it has equipped me to think a certain way and just be more of a critical thinker, if that makes sense. Or,
Mhm.
being able to evaluate opportunities in certain circumstances and situations, and kind of like not really having a choice but to get to what you need to get to.
Mhm.
So that's what I could think about. What about you?
I would say positive aspects. Let's think. Mm-mm-mm. I would say just like being on top of certain things.
Mm-mm.
Like, I've that's one thing that I was able to, see. So I think that for me, I have peers that may not just have been really prepared in a particular way. Like if something happens, to take care of themselves. And I was just always taught that early. And so it wasn't something that in a particular way, for the most part, that I ever really had to worry about, like knowing how to move, like get things for myself or just make things happen, like you were just saying. So I think that that's a good thing. And then to the men, girl. Anyway,
Just be happy
I don't
you
be
went
having
through it.
shit to say.
Be happy you went through it already.
I know, but you know what? In retrospect, like I don't even want. I don't know if I could. Can I? It was like a.
I swear,
What?
but she's like, should I talk about it? Should I
I,
not?
no, no,
Mm.
no. On the aspect of like, yeah, I feel what you're saying. Like, went through it early, but girl, people be going through some shit, and let me tell you, some of that I did not go through, and so it's like not to like minimize my experience at all, but it's like shit get worse, and that's the shit. I listen.
And you know what? Your energy, the universe, and God knows where you supposed to be at and who you are. Yeah, it gets worse for certain people. It does, but sometimes, yeah, nah.
Yes. So I'm just holding it down on the bright side of things over here. Yay. Um, Cause girl boo. So I just be chopping. And again, I think it's one of those things with experience. Like now talking about it, I can really say I just be chopping it up. Like no, I ain't about to keep talking about it because I don't be want to stress myself out or give shit attention.
Right.
But like in my daily life, girl, so it's over. It's like ugh. It's
Mm,
so past. Like I can't even be really giving it too much like energy.
mm.
So it was a little situation or
Yeah, I'm happy that I went through that. Now, when I think about it now, it's like, bitch, I can't believe you even. What the fuck were you thinking?
Girl, no, because I be like, girl, that's look the shit we was talking. It was like lightweight because you know what? I was talking to my homegirl today actually, and me and you had this. We always be having conversations, but how like older women used to stay with their men doing crazy shit, and people still do it today. But it's like I can't even. I can't. I talk too much. I literally talk too much to be in a position like that. Like we be, oh, you gone? All right. Tell Martha. Soon as you hit that corner, yeah. David, where you at? He gone. Yes. Cause one thing you ain't about to do is play with me like that. Cause definitely, and David know about you, and David know.
Period.
David know I ain't leaving. But no, yeah, for real. But I ain't just sitting at home while you with Martha. It's a wrap.
Well, if you want to do it, I'm gonna do it too. Fuck you.
The hell. The only thing is, I know about yours, and you think I'm at home. I still had dinner cooked. Told you I was tired. I don't know what my excuse gonna be.
That's a real thing. No, you cannot expect to be doing things. You know that everything you doing, your partner is just as capable as doing.
Amen.
So anything you getting into, and that's the word. So if you out here and you not doing right, know your partner out here and they ain't doing right. They may not be doing the exact thing you doing, but they doing a little some.
Right. You sneaky Lincoln? Oh, me too.
Yeah. You damn right. I might go to a lunch date. Might have told you it was with Becky, but it was with Bob.
And Becky is Bob. Bob is Becky and myself.
Babe, I don't know what you're talking about. What?
And Bob, no. If I call that phone, you better answer it. Becky.
Period.
No. I couldn't even talk to no other guy on this side that's answer his phone like Becky just like, oh, that'd be too funny.
Yeah, that's
his ass too.
Yeah, no.
I gotta leave him where he is.
That's the nigga that you use.
That's the guy you call when you ready to go get lunch.
Hello.
Random.
Period.
Yeah, what you doing? I'm hungry. Oh, let's get together. Okay. When we gonna hang out? Oh my God, I'm just got a lot going on. But yes. So, all right. So this is a good episode. So definitely you guys look into watch some vlogs and stuff. I want to know what y'all think. So definitely watch some vlogs or just make yourself interested, just knowledgeable of like what that experience is, so y'all can have an idea of what we're talking about. Because again, we're gonna come back once we record it. Like I'm gonna record mine, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if I'll share it. But we'll see when that time comes. And then epigenetics, I think that was a really good. It's all the time. It just be falling where it needs to. But also just explain what that is and plant that little seed. We'll definitely go further into what that is and like things that we need to be mindful of that are happening currently, involving that in like our state of mind when we are going through all of this social media shock and things of that sort. So yeah.
Yes, and so what are some takebacks? We always do takebacks. So what are some
Absolutely.
So what are some takebacks for this?
Takebacks for me today would be I don't have any takebacks today. I'm sorry. I mean I feel like we were like very like informative. We didn't really pry into each other too much. And then as far as like the hot topics with like the men and women, for me personally, that's already something that I know. That's already something that I'm mindful of. So yeah. What about you?
Again, just the same take back I've been saying. Just knowing where you come from to know where you're going. Sometimes that could be a contributing part of the journey. That's the take back for me. Just constantly being guided. While I pray at night, just ask for some guidance.
Amen. I respect it. Yeah, that was a good take back. All
Yes.
right, yeah, all right, y'all. So thank you so much for listening in to Hey Best Friend podcast.
And until next time.